Episode number 5.
Welcome to our new episode of Adventure Culture, episode 5. And today's just gonna be
Just us this time. Yeah. Just the two of us.
yes, sir, just kicking it. So I don't know. What do you want to talk about, Leo?
I don't know, man. Let's talk about life. Let's talk about how we started, where we're gonna go, and who we are
Okay,
as people.
Sure. Do you want to tell me a little bit about your story then?
Yeah, my story. Okay.
Give us the good shit.
Okay. All right. So it was a windy, snowy night in the middle of nowhere, also known as Amsterdam. That's where I first started to think about the potential of me having my own kind of like startup.
Okay.
And, you know, I honestly didn't do much with it, with the idea at that point, because I was thinking to myself, like, I'm only, like 14 years old? The fuck am I going to do at 14 years old, right? So I talked to my dad. I was like, hey, Dad, there's a new cool thing called Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's, I have 2,000 euros in my bank account, you know, from Chinese New Year's money. So let me put it all in Bitcoin. And then my dad was like, Leo, you're actually stupid. Let's not buy Bitcoin, because it's like, what, like 50 euros for a Bitcoin back then?
No.
It's like 50 euros for a Bitcoin. What are you going to do? It's not real. Like, it's non-tangible. Is it gold? I mean, I'm doing gold now, so but like, it's all gold. So like, what if like somebody runs away with all of your money?
Yeah.
It's not going to be here for long. And now here we are.
So
Bitcoin's like how
you missed out, eh?
I missed out. But, you know, from then I was like, let's not listen to other people. Let's see venture into our own path. We're kind of have our own adventure.
There you go.
Yeah.
That was very poetic. That was poetic, my guy.
Yeah. Adventure culture.
So you grew up so you were born in China,
I was born in China.
moved to
Moved to
Amsterdam,
Amsterdam.
and then kind of,
And in Canada. Yeah.
how was it like to be moving around so much?
I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked it. I mean, I didn't have much friends growing up, because, you know, friendships, they don't last when you are only at one place for maybe 4 years or something. Like, you don't make true everlasting bonds. Or that's what I thought back then. Now it's completely different. Now I know that, you know, you meet people who you get along with.
Right.
And sometimes the person that you meet from one house party that, you know, was looking at your ring and accidentally drops in the couch can be one of your best friends.
That's true.
Almost overnight.
That's how life works sometimes.
Funny how life works.
Yeah.
But yeah, so moving here, the culture is completely different.
Yeah.
But however, I was able to learn how people regarded things, people, places, and things. One of the biggest differences that I found, you know, between the Asian culture, the European culture, and the North American culture is that family, the value that people put on family and relationships are completely different between these three different locations. I'm not going to say like which is better, because I believe, it's what works best for the culture, right?
Yeah, I don't think there's like a better one. It's just different.
Yeah, whatever works best in your country. And I think that's, you know, that opened my eyes up to not be stagnant in my approach in things, which is, you know, what led me to the place I am now. And that's not putting yourself in a box, in a cage, in a mental cage, trying to do things one way. And just, if that way doesn't work out, a lot of people do this that I see, is that people start to blame either two things, themselves or the world around them.
Yeah.
But in fact, in actuality, there's nobody to be blamed here.
Blame you.
It's, if you were to blame somebody, I would say blame your recognition of the world around you. Because people, we have a filter that, you know, that's been pre-programmed into us since childhood. In my fortunate example, I moved around a lot. So this filter, this, you know, set and true filter was ever there for me. because I got to experience so many cultures. But for somebody who, you know, is only set in one way of doing stuff, if things don't work out, usually it's because it doesn't match the environment that this person is trying to operate in.
Gotcha.
And how does that affect me as a person now? I would think, you know, be like water, my friend, loosely.
That's very true. I feel like when you move a lot, you tend to acquire knowledge from different cultures, adapt them into your own identity, and then that's also eye-opening, because whenever you have different situations, you have a broader way to looking at things. And I don't think you're even looking outside the box, but you have so many boxes to look at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that's pretty cool that you've been around to so many places and gotten to experience
Yeah, that's a big
life
thing.
in those places too, you know, because most of the people, they go on vacation, they see 15 days, 10 days of like, I don't know, certain place.
And they say in a resort.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they don't really like gather that knowledge, and that they don't get really involved in the culture. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I mean, we're called a venture culture for a reason, right?
Yeah. And how was it like to have such a shock of cultures? Because I know that you have a lot of different interests. You know a lot about a lot of different random things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So is that part of what? Is that because you moved a lot, or why? Or how do you pick up so many interests through life like that?
Well, the thing is, I have micro fixations for a lot of things. For example, like I can be looking at cars and then wanting to know everything that I want to know about cars. And then suddenly, you know, looking at the cars, I might look into the mechanics part. And then from the mechanics part, I found out about watches, for example.
Okay.
And I mean, from an early age on, I've always been looking at different things. I started with dinosaurs, and here I am now. Like one of my interests is mechanical watches and antiques. You know, so it's like it jumps by correlation and not so much culture.
I wonder if that is a ADHD then.
It is a ADHD thing. No, it's definitely a ADHD thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we have a couple of friends with severe ADHD, and they all have very particular interest in random
Very niche, you know, very niche stuff.
Yeah, very cool conversations though.
Always learn a lot.
Yeah.
But what about you, son? You born and raised Colombia?
Yes, sir. Born and raised in Colombia. Came to Canada when I was like 17, and I've been here since. So I haven't been to Europe yet. So you know.
No, you know, maybe next trip.
Yeah. Honestly, I'd love to. I'd love to travel to Europe. More of South America as well.
South America. No, I want to go to South America.
Yeah, stuff.
Show me yours, I'll show you mine.
That's one of my plans. I do want to travel a lot when I graduate. I still gotta plan that out. You know, we'll see. Have some places in mind, but yeah. So a little bit about myself. I lived in Colombia. My parents were entrepreneurs in Colombia as well. So I always grew up in a family that was very open about talking topics like money, business. I was very involved. Like I remember in little meetings, you know, where my dad was like, "Oh, like we're going through financial crisis," you know what I mean? And I was just there like
2008.
Dude, not really. Actually, 2008, I think, was a good year for our family in Colombia. But it was always ups and downs, you know, especially when you have your own business, it's always ups and downs. So, and I moved a lot of schools as well. I think I ended up going to like 7 schools. So same thing. I get that whole thing of moving a lot and not keeping friendships, because back in the days, not like I was adding people on Instagram. I didn't even have a phone. You know, so I remember I ended up catching up with certain friendships like after years when like Facebook got more popular in Colombia and stuff like that. But other than that, it was just like phone calls, and then once I would move, boom, new life. You know, when I would like get transferred to schools, I guess. But yeah, so I guess coming back to my family, money was always a topic, and not in a bad way. I think it was always just like very objective, talking strategy and talking what to do and, you know, things like that. And I always felt like I was involved and I was like an actual voice in the family business, which probably wasn't, but you know what I mean?
You'd be surprised.
That's how I felt.
Yeah.
And my parents, they did a lot of things from like restaurants to a cosmetic company, you know, a lot of failures, a lot of good things that they came out of it. And so when I was growing up, I actually wanted to do something like engineering, but because I wanted to create something, I wanted to build something, but it was always towards like me creating my own company. And then when I did a couple years of high school here, I didn't do very well on physics. Like I passed.
Neither did I.
I passed, but my prof was like, my teacher at the time was like, if you don't get more than an 80, you should not be going towards anything related to engineering. I'm like, all right, cool.
Now, what fucked you up on physics? For me, it was Polish.
For me, I don't remember. I think it was when it came to like the electric season. Yeah, that part. Which is very ironic because my two grandparents are electric engineers.
Hey, my grandpa's a theoretical physicist.
Yeah,
physicist. Like
makes no sense.
Yeah,
I did not catch that I don't know, engineer bug again.
No.
But yeah, like it back on of my head, it's business has always been my interest, and sometimes like I love making money, but more than that, it's a lot of times it's been just creating something or making something that I think is cool. So yeah, I don't know. I've always liked being independent as well. So as soon as I found opportunities to like get my own money, I would run it to do it. And I knew that in my family was always encouraged that for me to like try different things to, you know what I mean? Like every single time, like my family is not academic at all. So if I would get like I don't know, like 100 in an exam, they'd be like, yeah, sure, that's what you should be doing. You know what I mean? That's it. But whenever I would make some money, like out of nowhere, that would be
that's a celebration. Yeah. Exactly. No, for me it's the opposite. It's like parents are like, stay in school.
Yeah.
You don't get 100 yet.
Yeah, no, I never got beat down for academics, which you know is a good thing and a bad thing. Like maybe if I was pushed more, I would have been in a more difficult program, I guess, or I don't know,
like history.
Yeah. It is what it is, I guess. But yeah, I think growing up it was very nice to have this type of upbringing. And my parents, even when they had a lot of, you know, were doing well, they weren't like the type of parents to like give me everything and like you know, they were like smart with money. And I guess when I grew up, I kind of had that same mentality where even if I had no money, my credit score has always been good. I've never been like bad with like shopping habits and stuff. Although I worked retail for a while, so all my money was going towards clothes. But you know that went away quick. And yeah, I always loved making money. I think, and I come up with ideas and then I do them. And then after I realized, like, damn, that was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So do you know Veld Festival?
Veld, yeah.
That's actually how I bought my first car.
No way. Okay, tell us about that.
Yeah, so I had already saved like $1,000 or like 1,000 something, and I was missing like another 1,500. And I went to Veld Festival 1 year. I liked it, but I noticed that there was like people selling things outside and doing, you know, things like that. So I'm like, on the second year, I'm like, fuck it, I'm not gonna go. I wanted to go. I like EDM. I'm like, I'm not gonna go. I'm just gonna make money out of that. So my friend that sold me a car, he had already like give it to me like in advance, and I still had to pay him that amount like in a couple weeks, and I didn't have it. So I loaded that car. It was a Hyundai Veloster. I love that car. I know car guys hate it, but I love that car. I bought on Walmart, you know, the packs of water. At the time it was like $2. Yeah, for a pack of 32 for something like that. And pop and things like that. Put them in a cooler, and yeah, just went to Veld Festival.
So water.
Yeah, I just put myself like close to the entrance. I just started selling water and pop and things like that. We didn't do too well because that same year they were like a cashless. That was the first year they did like a cashless event. So nobody really had like coins and stuff, but we did do like e-transfer and you know, and from that and a couple more things, we ended up gathering money to buy my
first car, right?
The first car, and
From a Veil festival.
yeah, and I say we because my brother would always like try to help me here and there, and I would help him here and there. So I'm pretty sure he helped me with a little bit to buy that car. But yeah, the thing is just one of those things that it makes it more worthwhile and more fun. Whenever I think about that car, I think about those things.
Yeah.
Me just sitting there under the sun for like 8 hours, and I think we did it during the 2 days actually. So
Just you and your brother.
well, he ended up going into the festival. So it was mostly me for the second day, but the first day was my brother. He's always been a good partner with me.
Yeah.
Like I come up with crazy ideas, and he's like, "That was about right." So I think that's good. He's always been down to help me. Right now, he's actually doing more. He's working on some marketing briefs and doing things like that, and I am helping him now with that. So we just kind of
Helps around.
So that's another important thing of having a family that is very open about it. We have a close relationship, and so I think that's important.
How do you think your brother, like in terms of starting your own entrepreneurial path, like did your brother contribute more like towards the process? Did him make it easier, you think?
I'd say yes. Again, I'm a very independent person, so I would most of the times come up with things by myself and then bring it up and say like, this is what I'm doing. And then if you want to join. You know what I mean? That's kind of how it worked. But he was always helping. In my family, like if I'm trying to do something, like it's a given that they're gonna help me with the muscle at least. Helping me carry boxes or helping me, I don't know, like with the cleaning company, with helping me go and clean someplace with me. You know what I mean? Like things like that. So I think it is important because I knew that I always had that one person to count on, that I could just ask him for it, and I knew that he was gonna help me.
Yeah.
And at the same time, he knows that whenever he does anything, I'm gonna be helping him in anything as well, right? So and here in Canada, like for example, my parents, they don't speak English. So when we came, it had to be my brother and me doing everything, like all the paperwork, calls, everything that had to do with communication. It was my brother and I. So at the end of the day, I think that we know that we pretty much got each other to help us in our careers and in our things. And then my dad and my mom, they help a lot, but I think they would help mostly when it comes to the actual just like support and like emotional support. I mean,
Which is also important.
which is very important, But as of right now, I think it's just knowing that he's there for me and that I'm gonna be there for him is very important because as we've talked in different classes and different occasions, being a solo founder is very rough, especially mentally, emotionally. Because you gotta be just pushing yourself. So if you have that other person to be there, it's like one time they're gonna be the ones pushing you. Sometimes you're gonna be the ones pushing them, right?
Family's an asset.
Yeah, 100%. So for me, that's been important. But I know for some people that don't have families like that and stuff, they meet somebody, somebody they trust, and they can develop that as well. So I don't think that's only for people in my situation, and I think that's transferable for different situations as well.
Fast and Furious. It's about the family.
It's
about the family.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm an only child myself. My parents. Well, when I first started, I didn't tell my parents anything because they were very academic driven. So I was afraid that they would be like, "Oh, you're studying this. Why don't you focus on school more?" Which eventually I told them, and that's exactly what they said.
Yeah.
So it's about like I think it's recognizing, even if like, or in my case, family couldn't be that much help.
Yeah.
You find people that could help you on the way. Like sometimes I feel like family it's very important. They feel, like you said, like emotional, and also, but sometimes also the technical aspect. But people sometimes negate. In my case, I negated the emotional support that my family could bring me.
Right.
And that's why I kept them out of the loop. But had I had the emotional support, would it make the process a lot easier? Definitely 100%.
Yeah. And for some people, it might be the opposite
way around.
Where they know that their fathers are not supportive at all, or their friend might not be supportive at all. So sometimes in those cases, it's better to just keep it quiet and do it your way, you know? I do remember that when I first came up with the company, I fucked up because I was like, just my brother and me. And I was like keeping it super quiet. I wanted to be like slick with it. Which at the end of the day, if you think about it, like nobody's going to copy your idea because most people are very lazy to just even...
to act on it.
Or, I mean, not lazy. Like everybody just focus on their own thing that they don't have a space to be looking at you and be like, okay, I'm going to do that, right? But in my mind, I'm like, oh, this is the best idea in the world. Like, I got, try to keep it quiet and stuff, which was bad because if I would have had more conversations with people, with my friends that are also students, you know what I mean, that they're the targeted demographic that I wanted to hit, I would have changed things earlier and made less mistakes and also gotten more confidence in my own idea, right? Which at the time when we went on the pitch competition at Waterloo, same thing, I was super quiet, like this and that, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna ace this thing. But I wasn't confident enough. I hadn't talked to enough people about my idea and stuff like that. And when I came to a pitch, I just fumbled. My confidence just like blew. But I think now it's a little better because I've talked about my idea and the company and I've served people. And I feel like it's about that, just exercising that. Yeah. But, if you don't have a nurturing environment, maybe not. Maybe just keep it to yourself. Or like change groups,
I think so, yeah. Like the way my mentality now is, like you said, people are lazy as hell to copy your idea. But should there be a person that's not lazy enough to copy your idea, recruit them. Get them to help you. Yeah,
that's true. I mean, why work against each other if you guys can work together?
Yeah,
that's true.
It's a lot of money to go around.
Yeah. That's the other thing. Something I've learned through the years is that there's just money everywhere. Yeah. And even though I'm not like extremely successful, or I don't want to be, or I'm not where I want to be at yet, there's for sure situations where I've been like that. Like it's just a matter of like sitting down, thinking through things, and starting doing the thing. You know what I mean? Like I feel like most of the time is just like trying to start it and then see how it goes. Yeah. Because for me, I first started with the cleaning business, and then because that wasn't picking up, I started doing moving, and then from there, that's when I came up with the other idea, and it was very related to what the knowledge that I've acquired from those from
prior,
I don't know, like little things I was doing, right? So I think it's very important to just try things, and one thing will lead to the next one, and you'll learn a lot from one thing, and all those skills are transferable. So I personally believe that it's about just trying, and then from the trying you will go to a better thing, and exactly how it goes.
I think that a lot of it really comes down to, if you're starting a venture, you have to think about how people kind of like would accept this product or this service that you're offering, and that honestly, that just comes down to the experience you have with people, like how you seek out people, how you recognize your clients, how you select the demographic that your marketing campaign is targeting. And honestly, there's no workaround with it. Yeah, you have to target. You have to. It's a pricey. It's a pricey lesson. It's a pricey tuition that we as entrepreneurs pay, in addition to our schooling, and that's our time, our own capital that we sunk into a project, and then just have it financially not work out, right? Potentially.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. And then, but however, in the end, you get so much more in terms of your past clients, how your skill on handling clients, pitching your ideas to their client.